is the Team ClearCoat podcast. We're two friends finally doing something about our obsession with cars.
We're probably not doing it well, but it should be fun, and we might actually learn something along the way. I'm Dave.
And I'm Ian, and this is our show.
Ian.
Dave.
We just had a fantastic conversation with Michael Ballaban, so we're going to get out of the way and let our listeners hear it.
But first, you should know that Mr. Ballaban is the deputy editor at Jalopnik.com, and you can follow him on Twitter, and you should
Yes.
at Ballaban. Ballaban.
Yes, definitely follow him.
Yes, that's why are we still talking. Go.
Yeah, interview.
Go. Bye. Hello, Dave.
Hello, Ian.
We have once again tricked someone into coming onto our show.
It's easier to do it digitally.
It is.
Yeah.
Joining us today via the internet is Michael Ballaban, deputy editor of Jalopnik. Hello, Mike.
Hey, thanks so much for having me. And for everyone listening and watching, I just want to say, yes, they paid me a lot of money. They paid me.
It's true.
Yes.
It's definitely true. So I want to let the people know how and why this happened. So I'm going to go on a little journey. Stick with me. So I slid into your DMs on election night because I was up late watching returns, as were a lot of people.
Yeah.
And
Panic eating carbohydrates.
Yeah. Or panic drinking them, as it may be. We talk on this show a lot about cars being an island. It's kind of like a safe haven from like the craziness around us, but also about how cars are totally linked to politics and how car enthusiasts kind of have a responsibility to have, to be responsible, basically. So that means that my question is, what does your Yugo say about late capitalism?
Gosh. What my Yugo says about late capitalism is that late capitalism is a scourge upon humanity. You could make the same argument about communism. Those are both two extremes. But because of how much money I've had to sink into that thing.
Okay.
Like everything in late capitalism, you get all these things for free and you think it's a gift, right? Like Facebook. You don't pay money for Facebook. You think, oh, this is lovely. I could see who got fat in high school for free. And then you go into it and then you realize you're slowly being robbed of your humanity.
Yeah.
And that's what the Yugo is. That's really what it is right there.
That's a really good just corollary for classic car ownership or enthusiast car ownership in general. Being slowly robbed of your humanity in the name of fleeting joy.
Honestly, I think we're done here.
Yeah, it's great. It was great having you on, man. I think we figured it all out.
All right. Well, good. See you guys later.
Yeah.
But I did want to ask you about because this is something that we've talked about on the show, but we've never actually really talked to a journalist about it. Is the whole idea of the keep your politics out of my cars thing, and just walking that line between keeping it a safe haven, but also, this hobby is more linked to political decisions than any other hobby that you can name. So, what's at Jalopnik, how do you guys kind of walk that line and why?
Sure. So we, I know it doesn't seem like it sometimes, but we generally, if we do not try to inject politics into cars,
Okay.
and vice versa,
Right.
it's more like when politics comes encroaching and storming in on what we love,
Right.
and then we've got to talk about it, and then we've got to call it out. And, there are times when we don't talk about it so much. And there are angles that people are, tweeting about, for example, today, Carlos Ghosn, that whole thing.
Yeah.
I don't know when people are going to be listening to this, but it is Monday the 19th. Carlos Ghosn, chairman of Nissan, Mitsubishi, was arrested this morning. And, and I know it's Japan, it's a different political system and all that, but let's just note that GM killed how many people, Takata killed how many people, right? And what did Carlos Ghosn did? Well, some very rich people are now slightly less rich because of him.
Yeah.
Right.
And he's the one who might be going to prison over it. Right. And that's a political angle. And we didn't really talk about that, but it's definitely stuff you got to think about. But generally, we don't seek it out. And lately, and people are like, oh, well, there's so much politics on Jalopnik nowadays. And it's like, because politicians, especially one, are talking about cars so much more nowadays.
Right,
they're
right.
calling the Toyota Camry, which is built in Kentucky, a security threat. And I'm like, that's dumb. Yeah.
Well, and not just talking about cars, because some of that is just whatever that is, but also like the actual policies that they're implementing are affecting the hobby now too, especially with the tariffs and that sort of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, and even something as simple as racing, right? Racing is incredibly political because it says a lot about our economic systems. When all it is like, it used to be, and I'm going to sound old back in my day, but it used to be that, great racing drivers could finance their way to some extent, by, starting off somewhere small and working their way up. Right. And I think, so Sterling Moss did that, started out as a mechanic, something like that. And nowadays it's all just like Lance Stroll, whose dad bought whole teams. He bought a whole series so that Lance Stroll could win it. Mm-hmm. And then the second Lance won it, he shut it down. And it's just like this is the kind of stuff that is just happening all over everywhere nowadays.
Right.
And again, this is not a drum that we're constantly beating, but I like to say that the best racing driver in the world, it wasn't Ayrton Senna. It probably was someone in Brazil, but there's probably somebody who lived their entire life in a favela and never ever drove. And that's because they couldn't afford to, but they had the drive and the genetic talent to do it, but that's life.
I think there's an aspect to the cars and politics discussion that also speaks to an enthusiast's sense of entitlement. Some section of enthusiasts feel like they're entitled to not seeing political things in their car bubble. I'm here enjoying cars. I don't want to see politics, right? And I think the reaction to that is something that I think is very telling as far as car culture goes and culture as a whole, right? Entitlement in general, I think, is something that car culture has an issue with, like the reaction to grid girls being taken away in F1, things like that.
Right. Yeah. And the thing is, my reaction is, you don't like it, don't click on it. Sure. I'm a really big hockey guy. I love the Islanders. Go Islanders. But on the same time, I'm not a huge basketball person. I just never get into it.
Right.
So I don't go out and, I don't read basketball stories. I'll read our sister site, Deadspin, all the time. I'll read about football and baseball and hockey, but basketball, I'll just scroll past it because it's
just not your thing. Yeah.
Right. It's just not my thing. And then that's fine. And it doesn't have to be your thing. But at the same time, if you want to be a car enthusiast, you should read those things. Because if you want to know why the car world is how it is, it really helps. If you want to know why, there's not a lot of young people at my show. They don't want to come see my 57 Chevy Bel Air. But you want to know why literally thousands of people are turning out to Radwood, where it's all cars in the 80s and 90s.
Right.
That's young people can't afford, a Bel Air that's LS swapped and all that nonsense. So they'll go out and they'll get something super weird. And believe me, we are in such a golden era for buying super weird, especially Japanese cars, that you will never, ever, ever be able to get for this cheap again. You can get a Uno's Cosmo with a 3-rotor engine.
Oh.
Yeah. And Gary Duncan in Virginia has 3 of them for sale right now. I think the most expensive one is $9,000. And
come on.
Yeah. And it's where the hell are you going to be able to get that repaired? Not my concern. I just say
right. Yeah, it's fine. It's fine.
What we do here is we enable bad decisions. Don't start injecting. Keep your practical concerns
out of our podcast. Yeah.
Right, but go ahead, get a $9,000 car, and it'll be crazy. And it'll make the Bel Air guy's head explode, right? Because he doesn't get it.
Yeah,
but that's fine. There's so much. Car culture is not going away. It's just changing. Yeah. It doesn't look like your dad's car culture. And if you want to know why, the politics stuff will help you.
Well,
if you don't care why, then who cares? But
And that in particular is a great example because that was also driven by the whole chicken tax and all of that stuff, right? So the whole reason that stuff is sought after and rare is because we artificially decided in Washington to not import them.
Well, I think with the Yunus Cosmos specifically, it was the Mazda Corporation who decided no American in hell would want this.
Right.
But the chicken tax, that's an absolutely great idea. Why don't we have small pickup trucks in the United States where it's like everyone from, Volkswagen to Mercedes to, Ford they're all selling these like neat small pickups all over the world. It's because of the chicken tax. And why is that? Because our government's protectionist and it's just all sorts of random stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
I grew up driving little Nissan pickup trucks, and I miss a tiny pickup truck so bad, so bad.
They're great, and if you actually check out like the GMC Canyon and Chevy Colorado, and even the new Ford Ranger, they're not small. They're pretty huge. They're the size of like an F-150 from 20 years ago. They're pretty big.
Yeah.
And if you want like something truly small, you got to go used. But
Yeah.
And then that also, again, don't mean to bring politics, but
let's do it.
Talking about it, right? Why? I feel like people should want smaller pickup trucks now because young people, right? We were basically...
Dave, are these important?
Ian, stop unplugging all of the stuff.
What happened?
Okay, so we ran into some technical difficulties with Michael during this part of the conversation. So the video is going to look different. Shut up. It doesn't matter why.
We're editing. We'll fix it in post. Keep going. All right, keep going. Just put all this stuff. Fix it in post.
Okay. What do you say we start over with the FMK cars?
I would love to start with the FMK cars.
Yes.
I heard a Corvette, maybe a Grand Sport. I didn't hear much of anything else.
Yeah. Okay. I got you. Okay. So this FMK cars is based on. Oh, I got to get it back on my thing. Is based on the profile pictures of people on Twitter who have told Jalopnik to stay out of politics.
Oh my God. My favorite people.
Yeah. Exactly. I had to go through. I will say. When researching this, and I actually did research this.
Yeah, I was going to say,
I actually
clicked on some profiles, Ian.
I had to go through a lot to find that ones that weren't, and I'm really sorry to just be stereotypical here, but it's the facts, just NASCAR pictures.
Really? I'm surprised. I thought it was more going to be like anime girls or just Twitter eggs.
Yeah, the largest percentage were people who had no car picture in their profile or in any of their recent media going back quite some time.
But yet had an opinion about where cars should be inserted into their view. Okay.
Correct.
Yes,
right.
Of course.
Okay, hypocrisy is human nature.
And then the next biggest section were just NASCAR pictures.
Okay.
So there weren't actually any cars that they drove.
So you're just scrolling.
It took me a while, but I got there. All right. So the first car is a C6 Corvette Grand Sport convertible.
Okay.
All right.
C6 Grand Sport convertible.
Yes.
Yep.
The next one is a 4th gen Camaro circle track car.
Circle track car. Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So like the 90s era Camaro.
Yeah. The bitchin' one.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Super bitchin'.
Yeah.
Extra bitchin'. And then the last one.
Michael and I are old enough to know that song. You might not be, Ian.
I actually don't know what we're talking about.
You don't? Bitchin' Camaro? Dead Milkman, right?
Oh, right.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. And then the last one surprised me a little bit. A bagged Mark I Volkswagen GTI.
Oh. Okay, so.
On like BBSs.
Of
okay.
course.
All right. This is fine. We could do this. All right. Fine. Okay. So you do the one night with the Camaro circle track car because everyone wants to drive a race car.
Yeah.
Right.
They're a hell of a lot of fun. And you don't want to live with it. Right. But it's I mean, a Gen 4 Camaro circle track car, that's hilarious. Yeah, that gets lit. The one I marry is actually the Bag GTI.
Okay.
And because first gen GTIs are good, and I haven't driven obviously this particular person's bag GTI, but airbag suspension, Mercedes uses that. It's comfortable. You want to live with it. You just want to live with it. And Mark 1 GTI is a lot of fun. And I would kill to death that C6 Corvette Grand Sport convertible.
Yeah.
And if you were able to bring it back, I'd kill it again.
Wow.
And that's just because I despise not Corvettes, not Grand Sport Corvettes, convertibles. I hate convertibles. They're the worst. They're the bane of my existence. I hate them.
I, being a ginger, am also not a fan of convertibles. But generally, yes, also, yeah.
There's like two places on this earth where like a convertible is good, and it's like one of them is Southern California, and the other one is like, of course, Italy. And everyone else, it's like really too hot or really too cold. You ever like be in a convertible on a really hot day?
Yeah.
It's miserable. It's like, oh, I'm supposed to be enjoying this, but instead it's just like a hot sun beating on you. There's hot air in your face. It's miserable.
Yeah.
Convertibles are the worst.
We had a little bit of snow in Denver just over the weekend, and I saw driving around a Nissan Murano Cross Cabriolet with the top up. So
why get such a joyous car and then put the top up? You put the top down everywhere you go.
Yeah, it's like you're in Colorado. Let's see you commit, right?
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
You bought it. You own it now.
Yeah. I think you made the right call, though. Yeah, the Corvette convertible, not a fan. And
that's exactly how I would answer that question.
Yeah, absolutely. I really want to drive a bag GTI. Yeah.
Like I've driven bag cars before, and like down at H2OI, which is probably where the bag first gen GTI lives.
Okay.
But if they're slammed on the ground, like they're uncomfortable and it's like annoying getting over speed bumps. But once you lift it up, it's fun. It's just a car.
Right.
And it's just a Mark 1 GTI. And it's got like probably 9,000 pounds of, pneumatics in there.
Right.
But even then, it still weighs 2 pounds. It's a Mark 1 GTI. It's going to be a ton of fun.
Added to the curb weight also is all the baggage that goes along with being a person who drives a bagged Mark 1 GTI and just being that person out in the world.
No, I don't have the pictures of the car. You have the pictures, but was it like purple at least? With like gold wheels.
I actually don't have it up. But no, it was like a matte gray and then with like gold BBSs.
Yeah.
Ooh, I like the gold BBSs, but the matte gray.
Yeah.
That was a look. It was a look, but I'm going beyond it. The murdered out look. I'm beyond it.
Yeah.
Wheels, I'm beyond it. Bring back big sidewalls.
There you
big
go.
Boys. That's what I want on my car.
Yeah, I'm into that. I'm into that as well.
I just put some 17-inch snow tires on my Infiniti M45. 17-inch wheels, big sidewalls. Yeah.
Hell yeah. Well, I don't mean to detract from the conversation, but what kind of winters did you put on your car?
The Firestone studded. So I have the M45, just the rear wheel drive. So it's a donut machine in Colorado. Yeah.
Is the snow really that bad that you should get studs?
No, it's not.
Especially when you don't ski or snowboard.
I don't.
Like this one.
I don't. I just ride bicycles. But but like I spend a lot of time in traffic. I have to commute a lot for work up and down all of Colorado here, and like I can't get caught in ice. I the cost of a set of studded tires for my Infiniti was basically the upfront cost for a used Subaru in Colorado. And so I don't have to plate it. I don't have to insure it. I don't have to, change the head gaskets and timing belt all the time.
Yeah. And you said it's an Infiniti M45?
Yeah, the 2006. Yeah.
Those cars are so underrated.
Thank you.
They look so good. They look so good. And I like my dream of when that car came out, I was like, man, if they made a 2-door version of this, it would kill everything. But like that car, so underrated, so good. I'm asking because I just put a set of Pirelli's Sada Zeros on my Lexus.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, because I got the rear wheel drive too. So I was like, I can't. It's so much fun.
Well, I think the Sport Cross is a crazy underrated vehicle as well.
Yeah, I mean, yes, it should have a manual.
Right,
and like I really wanted that. And
so should my 45.
People do it. It's like $4,000. You need the transmission, and $4,000 is like kind of what the transmission and all, like a new ECU flash and all that costs. Then if you want the labor, that's all on top of it.
Right.
Yeah.
But then like I don't know, you're changing like what the car was like. I don't know, like it's a nice place to
be.
be.
Manual version, a version with 6-speed manual.
The sedan only, right?
No, a wagon, but it was the IS 200 with a 2-liter straight six.
There it is.
It's a very strange configuration.
That's a crazy motor. Okay.
Yeah, and like you would think like, oh, 2 liters, so 150 horsepower. That's about what they got. But then like my car, the 3-liter straight six has terrible fuel consumption. A 2-liter straight six also has terrible fuel consumption. So it doesn't make any sense. But they did have that with the 6-speed manual, but the 6-speed manual couldn't handle the power.
Gotcha.
So, big beefy 215, which nowadays like any Civic would be.
That's not important. That's not important.
Exactly. Not important. Important.
Yeah. No. I really like the little Lexus wagon. Every time I see one of them, it's just makes your day a little bit better.
Yeah.
I think I've seen 2 others on the road, and it blew my mind every time.
Nice.
Yeah, you do not see them. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But I want to bring it back to one thing you said just then about how you kind of caveated like, oh, that's what a Civic has now or whatever, because you had an article recently about the check engine light in the Lexus, and that hit home for me a lot.
So Ian here has a Volkswagen R32, the 2004. So so he gets sunburnt by his check engine light.
Yeah. Actually, I'll confess this to you guys here. But someone in the comments, I don't know if you saw, they were like, wait, so you picked it up last night and you're already writing about this? Like, they were like, just you wait. And I was like, yeah, wait for the follow-up called I Played Myself. I played myself.
It's back.
It's back.
So it wasn't the charcoal?
I was pissed. I went to the shop and I was like, I just paid you guys $800 to fix my car. And like, they did the smoke test, so they should have had precisely known what was wrong. And I was like, you got to be kidding me. I was so pissed.
Oh, no.
But yeah, that's fun car life.
Yep.
It absolutely is. But so you in that you kind of talked about like the thing that you have in the back of your head that keeps you, when you're talking about it to someone else, that keeps you from falling completely in love with it because you just know that there's something wrong with it.
Yeah.
And to me, that's like like the asterisk next to like the home run record where that's what
Bonds.
Exactly. It's the Barry Bonds of like car enthusiasm.
Right. Yeah, you're so right. And it's like, I just want it to work. I want to be able to show it to somebody and be like, don't worry about that light. Yeah.
Right. Because you want to not worry about it.
Exactly.
You can't not worry about it, so you can't expect someone else to not worry about it.
Exactly.
So you got to put it in there. You got to say, well, there's an asterisk there.
So to bring it back to politics, the state of Colorado kind of allowed enthusiasts to breathe a sigh of relief because for, I think, 1994 to 2004 cars, if your check engine light is on, you can still pass emissions.
Really?
Yeah, they used to fail you. Now they just straight look at the output. If your check engine light is on.
Oh, so if it's not emissions related, you can pass?
As long as you're still on the rollers, you're still blowing slightly dirty air, not awful air, then you pass, even with your check engine light illuminated. They told me that, and I was like, thank you.
Wait, so you guys have legal weed and a state that moved up way on like old cars emissions. Like, why do I live here? I hate living here.
It's an excellent question. I don't really know the answer to it.
Come on out to Denver. Everybody else is moving here.
Oh man, yeah, that's what I've heard too.
Yeah.
It is insane.
Yeah, but that makes it politically easier for me to own my Saab Viggen.
Yeah. Have you passed emissions yet?
Shut up.
The answer is no. He has not.
Not the point.
Right. Yeah, that's for me back here, Ian. That's for me to keep in my mind palace.
Terrible.
Yeah.
We've talked a lot about emissions lately because it's like a whole like emotional. I don't know what the emissions
what do you have
and
to
inspection regime is like in New York.
What are you doing with your Yugo?
If the car is younger than 25 years old, it must pass whatever the emissions were at the time.
Okay. So we were talking about like the emotional like distress that you go through taking an older or enthusiast car to the emissions place. And like here they give you Like it's like a little trailer inside the garage with like clear windows, and it's
man.
you know, like the trope of in a sitcom of like a new dad like pacing in the hospital waiting for his newborn. Like that's exactly what that emotion is.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I know that because it's like, well, with the Lexus, you know, I'm honestly not really concerned about the emissions, but in New York, no matter how old your car is, it's like up until like 1967 or something. Before that, it's like where anything goes, but it still has to pass safety. And you guys ever try to get a 1991 Yugo to pass safety checks? Oh my God.
Tell us about that, Michael.
No, but you end up doing that thing where it's like one guy's like, I'm not going to pass this. So it's like, all right, I'll go to the next shop. I'm like,
right. And then it ends up being, how much money am I going to have to bribe someone to get this to pass? It's funny that you brought that up because actually today, in preparation for this, I was trying to figure out what I was going to do for FMK cars. I actually read an article from 1986 from the Chicago Tribune talking about how that they had never recorded a worse score for frontal crash test until the Yugo came along.
Yeah, that's actually a funny story about that. I don't think my wife has ever been in that car.
Okay.
Because I'm like, one of us needs to survive.
Yeah, that's designated survivor material. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just like, you know, and I'd rather it be you than me. Yes. So it's just like, this is just, you know, we got to be rational here.
Yeah, I feel the same way about mine. Yeah. I mean,
And you should have seen it. You should have seen it when I first got it. Like, oh my God, I had to replace the seats because they were long story short, they were ejector seats. If you got into a collision, you would have been thrown completely.
Yeah.
The passenger side seatbelt did not exist and the front side just didn't work. So it's like I had to put all those in myself. It was just, it was a total nightmare.
Wow. Yeah. I like that idea of taking it shop to shop because when I lived in Missouri, we used to have safety inspection. So not only does Colorado have legal weed, no check engine light failures, but we don't have a safety check for plating a car. You could show up with no doors on your Nissan Stanza and no headlights, anything. And as long as it goes on the rollers.
You can't have no headlights.
Yeah, but do you have a doorless Nissan Stanza? Because if you do, that's kind of awesome.
I need a powder blue Nissan Stanza. Yes, yeah.
You both with no doors.
Exactly, yeah.
And a buyer for some doors.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, no, but I like what you're saying about having to take it shop to shop, right? Because as IT people, we deal with that because there will be like the person in the office that asks one of us a crazy question, and you see them out of the corner of your eye. They're like, oh, they're not going to get the answer they want out of Ian. They're going to come to me next, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, well, you know, I'm driving a Yugo. What other choice do I have? like, eventually I found a shop that I shit you not. So I get there and I know the windshield wipers aren't working.
Right.
I know the turn signals aren't working. So I got 2 strikes against me there.
Sure.
And I pulled in and I was like, I know this isn't working, but just pass it. And the guy was like, all right, let me see if it's like a fuse or something. And he pops the hood and he literally props the hood open with a baseball bat.
Yes.
All right, I know I found my shop.
Yes.
I'm in the right spot.
Yes. Yeah, shop for life right there. That is fantastic.
Yeah, because, you know, every shop, they just have a baseball bat in case, you know.
Yeah.
They want to play around.
Right,
you know?
exactly.
That's what it's about.
Exactly, right? Yeah.
No other reason.
In case they're going fishing and have to knock out a catfish or something.
Right, exactly. Those things are vicious.
Yeah, no. I love it. I just love, like, so what public reactions have you gotten while driving the Yugo? So
That's a good question.
We just interviewed some hearse owners that daily drive hearses. And so I want to know about your Yugo and the public reaction.
Some people are like, is that a Volkswagen?
Okay.
Most people are completely bewildered. Like, I haven't seen that car in 20 years.
Sure.
And it's just like, mine also doesn't look like a normal Yugo. Like, it's got chrome wheels.
Yes.
Yeah. And rally lights. So people are like, what are you doing? And weirdly, when we were doing a Jalopnik TV show, which was terrible and which nobody watched, which is fine.
I watched it.
I'm so sorry. But when we were getting it together, we were filming an episode in New York City, and the Yugo was not running. And the producer was like, you got to get it running. And I was like, well, how long do I have? They were like, you have 2 days. and also you need to work 14-hour shifts the 2 days before. I was like, all right, so we're going to need to bring it to a shop.
I mean, that's a shitty producer because honestly, that sounds like a better television show.
Yeah.
Oh man, I got stories from that.
Get a Yugo running in 2 days in New York.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. But like universally, every mechanic I bring it to, it's weird. I don't know if you guys notice this with mechanics, but unless it's like a tuner shop or something, they almost don't get why people like cars.
Yes.
The guy was like, just get rid of this. Just get like, if you need transportation, get a Camry. And I was like, I don't have this because I need transportation.
Yeah, I don't own this on accident.
Yeah. You're exactly right. Thankfully, they put that filter up, that allows you to determine whether or not you want to use them as a shop, right?
Yeah. And it's weird though because it's like I think eventually it's like me with cars too. It's like you spend so much time thinking about cars all day that like eventually you become just like a little like numb to it,
right?
And just like, and that's why nowadays people are like, oh, I've got a Porsche 911, and I'm like, and it takes something like a bagged Mark 1 GTI with gold wheels to get me like, yeah.
So my neighborhood mechanic, the shop that I can push my Saab to when I need to, there is a it's on our Instagram feed. There was one of the Volvo 850 touring wagons clapped out and across the street from the shop. And so like I dropped my car off there for service and I was like, you guys need to tell me everything about the Volvo across the street. And like,
was it dark green? Was it that like dark green?
No, it was white and it had like blue graphics on it, like the British touring car.
It had like half the livery. Like it looked like it had the livery along all the bottom sills and back.
But it was beat to shit.
Because this just sounds good.
No, we'll send it to you.
We'll
absolutely. But I asked the people in the shop, I was like, tell me about the Volvo. And they were like, oh, we don't know. The guy across the street owns it.
Yeah, it's just
and I was like, that's it? Like, no. Like, you just called the Oscar Mayer Wienermobile like a Ford. Like, you can't do that. Like, I need a story.
To be fair, I work in IT, and if any of my friends or family members ask me a question about a new laptop or want to tell me about their new laptop, I basically just tell them to fuck themselves because I do not care.
Yeah, it's like get whatever laptop will bring in the pornography that you want to watch.
Right.
Like that's really that's fine. People always, one of the worst questions to ask like a car rider is what car should I get?
Right.
Because we know you're not going to get whatever we say.
Right.
You're like, I've got $10,000 to buy a car. I'm like, you can get a really, really pristine Mark 1 Toyota MR2 for that money.
Mm-hmm.
And then people are like, and I'm like, you asked me what I would get. Like, I'm not sane. Like, you don't want to know.
It's totally true. Yeah, because really, whether it's you giving car advice or me giving computer advice or Dave giving computer advice, it's the real answer is what can you get that will make us never have to have this conversation ever again?
Yeah, to a large extent, yeah.
Right, yeah.
So I know you have to get going, so I'd like to wrap up with another FMK cars.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
This is one that we did amongst ourselves on the show a long time ago, but it's a fun one, so we're going to do it. So this one has a little bit of a catch with it. You'll catch on. All right, so this one's called I've got 99 problems and 6 of them are in this fucking car with me. 7-seat cars.
7-seat cars. All right, lay it on me.
All right, Audi Q7.
Yeah.
There are 6 very supportive grandmothers, and they're shouting over themselves to encourage you as you drive, and then also asking if you've had enough to eat. All right?
Yeah.
All right, so the next one, Tesla Model S. You are restricted to the Boulder, Colorado area. I don't know if you know anything about Boulder, but it's a very, very college town. Like if you could distill college town down, that would be it.
Right. But also we call it the People's Republic of Boulder.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's kind of overplanned and it's if you made a city out of a Whole Foods, it would be Boulder, Colorado.
Like everything's a little too nice.
Yes.
Yeah, a little bit creepy.
Yep.
Yeah. It's in the uncanny valley of cities.
Yes. There you go.
Exactly. Okay, I get it.
All right. So in the last in this one, you are restricted to the Boulder area and every seat must be filled with the ass of a hitchhiking trustafarian at all times.
Oh God, it's gonna smell awful.
And they're probably going to put fish on the radio. I mean, they're gonna put fish on there. All right.
Is there like an internal air filter on a Tesla?
Well, I know they have like the bio filter
What
that
if
can
the
like
bio
protect.
thing is inside?
The call is coming from inside the house.
Yeah.
Yeah, that doesn't really work. All right. So you're going to need to Google for this one probably.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
So the last one is a Volvo XC90. And
I know what that car is. I don't need to Google it.
for the catch. Your passengers are K-pop boy band 2 p.m.
Okay. That's it? Just a K-pop boy band 2 p.m.?
Yep.
Yep.
They will be shirtless and wet because that's how they are
Okay.
in all of their photos for some reason.
Okay, so this is actually not so bad.
No.
I can deal with this, I think.
I didn't want to be too mean. You're a guest.
Yeah.
No. This I can do. This I can do. So, fuck the Tesla.
Right.
Because with bioweapon defense mode, I've actually tried it out.
Okay.
And it doesn't just seal off the outside, it shoots the fans up to beyond maximum to circulate the air as much as possible.
Wow.
So if I can last for one night in that car, I'll live. And also, the Tesla Model S, like, I know it's crazy to say, a lot of people are, it's an electric car. It's so fast. It's mind-boggling. It's not like you're driving a car. It's like acceleration in that thing is I'm stopped, now I'm at 60. And there's nothing in between. It literally pulls your face back. Like everyone knows like the Jeremy Clarkson, Ariel Adam thing.
Yeah.
It's like that in a regular car. It's really weird. So I would do that.
Okay.
I would actually marry the Volvo full of shirtless Korean men. And I think that one would actually be pretty easy because the Volvo XC90, I really like it. It's like everything's just sort of nice. And the Korean guys, I'm sure they're lovely, but we don't speak a similar language. I think I know how to say annyeong, which is, I think that's hello in Korean. But like we wouldn't have much to talk about, so it's kind of quiet. But I know they like music, right?
Right.
And the Volvo, I love a gimmick in a car. And the Volvo XC90 has one of the best gimmicks in a car.
Really?
Which is, it's called the Gothenburg Concert Hall. And it's a sound setting that cranks the reverb way up in the speakers. And Volvo claims that it accurately recreates the acoustics in the local symphony space where Volvo's factory is.
I know. It's so badass. What's so funny about that is I actually have... So I'm kind of into like vintage audio stuff, and I have this like huge brick of a home stereo device that was to do the same exact thing from like the late 70s, and it's like 20 pounds. And now it's just like a setting in the dash of your Volvo. Which
so
is
you
crazy.
could have that in an XC90 and 6-part. I don't know your singing abilities. Maybe 7-part harmonies.
Let's go with 7. Let's just assume 7.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna jam on Seal's "Kiss by a Rose," and we are gonna rock out that thing in the Gothenburg Concert Hall setting. That you'll see God. I mean, maybe I don't know if you're religious, man, but you will be.
Yeah.
And then I'd kill the Audi because Audis are miserable. It's kind of like being in a dungeon. And I love my grandma to death. But you know,
that's a lot. That's a lot to handle.
That's a lot. That's a lot.
Yeah. No, that's fantastic. That's fantastic.
I think again, you've answered very, very well. Thank you so much. I know you have to get running, so we can't thank you enough for coming on and
really
going along with whatever this was.
Thanks so much for having me. It's my pleasure. Happy to come back anytime you'll have me.
Oh,
that'd be great.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Michael.
All right. Thanks.
Thank you, guys. Have a good one.
You too. Ian.
Yes, Dave.
We just had a fantastic conversation with Michael Ballaban.
We did. That was a lot of fun, and he was very patient and understanding with just our general nonsense, but also some technical difficulties. So we really, really appreciate him seeing that through.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, it was. We had a fantastic time interviewing him.
Yep.
I can't thank him enough. We. There's no I in the blanket for it, Ian. We can't thank him enough for his perspective on politics, cars, car culture, Yugo ownership.
All of it. All of the above. Yeah. And you should go read everything he writes on jalopnik.com immediately.
Yeah.
And follow him on Twitter at Ballaban. Do all of those things. And also, just be a friendly car person and go do some car things.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right? Follow us goofballs on the internets at TeamClearCoat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, TeamClearCoat.com has all of the particulars.
Yeah.
And also we're on the media's social, so just find us on there.
Call the hotline, 720-515-1391, if you see something weird out on the street and you want to report it. Maybe you see a weird ginger driving a vegan around. I'm surprised Nick Lindy hasn't called in to report one of us from the street team.
That's true.
Yeah.
It's true. It'll happen eventually. That's how we'll know we'll make it. When someone calls the hotline to let us know that they've seen us.
Right.
That's when we know.
We've seen the same cars. Remember that little Cobalt Camaro?
Mm-hmm.
Both Nick and I saw the same thing.
It's true. It's true.
live in
We
the
really
same-
made this outro tight.
We did. We kept it tight.
Goodbye, everybody. We love you.
We love you. Play the music, Dave.